Hey guys, it's Dennis here with Revog Games, and I'm joined by.
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa on my makeshift setup.
Yes, you're going through some remodeling or reorganization of your office. Yeah. Last week we didn't have a podcast, but we did at the same time. It was just we had one long discussion about the one big thing. Obviously, last week was the Activision Blizzard purchase by Microsoft. Where we were gonna follow up on some more details that have come out since then. But I think we talked for almost an hour there, so it was almost like our weekly podcast. But then we have some other news that we want to cover. Nothing major. I feel like in the aftermath of this Activision Blizzard news, people are maybe shying away from announcing anything too big because everyone's still kind of chattering about this stuff. I don't know about you, like. Are people still? I mean, at least when I've seen on Twitter and everything, people are still talking about Activision and Blizzard and.
Oh, the memes, yeah, that's the one thing I've seen a lot of is that there's a lot of memes, and yeah, people keep talking about it. A lot of misinformation too, which
Mhm.
is weird because so many people have covered this so intensely. I've seen a lot of people make claims that are very not true with
Mhm.
regarding this, but yeah, everyone's still talking about it.
Yeah. All right. Let's kind of delve into some of the stuff that people are talking about. The first thing that happened was Sony lost about 20 billion
Stock, yeah.
in value right after the announcement. I don't know how much they must have made some of that back since.
I'm
But
pretty sure, yeah, because that was like a panic thing.
yeah. But yeah, it was not good news for Sony. It was funny though. It was like I think even Microsoft didn't. I think they were taking a hit in their stock. Not like $20 billion hit, but it was down a few percent. It was Activision Blizzard whose stock like you know went up. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of fallout. People are upset that the Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick or whatever his name is kind of gonna get off with making a ton of money. But I think that's kind of unavoidable. I think no matter what the situation is, there's a lot of talk about the Activision slash Blizzard employees. Um, them being, cautiously optimistic that Microsoft is taking over. Um, I mean, I guess it's one of those scenarios where like there's only one way to go, is it's up. So there's just a lot of stuff coming out. What did Sony say? Sony said they released a statement right after the purchase. They said, "We expect that Microsoft will abide by contractual agreements and continue to ensure Activision games are multi-platform." So, it's kind of like what can I say? So I'm just gonna say something really, you know, not, you know, it's not an angry statement, but it's just more like, okay, uh, we're hoping you guys still do what you plan on doing, which Activision had reported that they plan on releasing the next 3 Call of Duty games on PlayStation. Because people
And then
remember,
after that, who knows?
yeah, but you have to remember too, Microsoft does not own Activision Blizzard yet. That's not gonna. They're saying not even until probably 2023 is probably when it'll be finalized.
Yeah, it's going to
So
take about a year for the acquisition to go through. Then three games is going to take more than a year though.
yes,
So
and also they can't really dictate stuff because they don't own them yet. They can't be like, hey, don't make this. Obviously, Activision Blizzard aren't gonna try and do stuff to screw over Microsoft as they are still going through the purchase. But at the same time, they're gonna try and carry on to the best of their abilities. It makes sense. Not being owned by Microsoft yet, why wouldn't you try and release your flagship title to as many platforms as possible. Because for them,
Yeah.
exclusivity on a particular platform doesn't make any sense. So,
I do think eventually they will make it exclusive though
yeah,
in the future,
yeah,
like 3, 4 games down the line. Once they're like, cause they with the amount of money I mean, they don't have to. It would be nice of them to keep it cross-platform and to keep it on all forms. They can make a lot of money selling it on PlayStation as well. But eventually, they are going to make it exclusive, I think. If like even in the beginning, I think we're going to get a lot of like there's going to be deals through Game Pass, for Call of Duty. There's going to be like incentives and other things like that where it might not necessarily be exclusive to Game Pass or to Xbox, but you'll get especially with the Xbox, the premium Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, especially
mm,
with that, you get a lot of perks in other games. So I'd imagine them linking it together in that regard in the beginning. But eventually, I do see them making it completely exclusive onto their system. Because why not?
yeah. Even if not, let's say hypothetically they don't, the value proposition is too great for the Game Pass. You know what I mean? It's already getting there where it's like, well, you get that, on right now. The difference is the exclusive. A lot of the exclusives, let's say, are Microsoft owned, so you'll never see them on PlayStation. And if you own a PlayStation, you may just decide, you know what, I'm good with whatever the PlayStation or Sony exclusives are. But
Yeah.
then if you see something like, remember earlier last year, was it Outriggers came out on
Outriders, yeah.
Outriders. Outriggers. Well, Outriggers was the name of a game. I think it was a similar type of game back in the day. But anyways, they came on Game Pass day one. I mean, it was available for PC. It was available for PlayStation. But
But yeah, Game Pass day one, and that pushed its like the player base up. Like that was the biggest thing they noticed from Game Pass was that they acquired a huge player base, and because it's a multiplayer game, you're gonna try to convince your friends to get the game too to play it with you. So it worked out pretty well for them.
yeah, or
So I can
you
see like yeah, a similar model with Call of Duty would work very well, I think, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, because it's not even that. It's like, okay, let's say you have Game Pass and you got the game because it doesn't cost anything to you, and you like it and you want your friends to play. You're like, hey, get this game, whatever, and they're like, I don't want to pay the $60. I don't know if it's good. You're like, no, just get Game Pass, get it, and then we'll play together. And then let's say they pay that whatever, you know how they have that like $1 for 3 months deal. You get it just to get that one game so you can play with your friend. You like it because what's not to like, and you just keep going with it. I mean, that's how you're gonna get these people to subscribe because it's like the value's too good. Why wouldn't you do it? And it just becomes a thing where it's like where I mean, you really have to decide like, okay, am I going to spend X amount of money for games individually, or can I just pay this whatever flat fee or whatever? So yeah, it's whether or not Call of Duty is exclusive or not, it still is something Microsoft can use to their advantage. But like we said, it's not going to be for a while. Another report came out from Bloomberg, and this is something you and me have talked about a lot. Apparently, we like to predict things. Either the Microsoft is listening to this podcast, or we're just really good at speculation. But I guess high-level employees are discussing moving away from the annual release schedule for Call of Duty.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
It makes sense. We talked about it last week and explained why, with the Game Pass model, why you don't need to release every year. It doesn't make any, you don't have to. Because altogether, Microsoft releasing their exclusive games is like releasing, new stuff. And it's and Call of Duty, much like Assassin's Creed and a lot of the other annual games, is just getting...
It's just too much, man. It's just like there was literally a point in time where I couldn't keep up, and then I wanted to play Call of Duty, and I was like, yeah, I want to play the new Call of Duty. And then
You're like, which
by the time
one?
I had exactly by the time I had like enough money
Or
like put
time?
away where I could like afford to throw down like for a $60 game, there was like two or three to choose from, and I was like, what? There was only like one new Call of Duty since I last checked. They just keep coming too fast, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think rather work on. I get that it's a multiplayer game, right? But I think that they could do better if they come out like once every 2 years and just give you like an amazing campaign attached to it,
Yeah.
because they do have great campaigns.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years. I'm telling you, like the Assassin's Creed's new model, just much better. And then work on DLC or whatever else.
Exactly, yeah.
It just
Because look,
seems.
if a lot of people who have their favorite Call of Duty, they're not playing the newest Call of Duty. They're
Yeah.
playing their favorite Call of Duty from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, who knows? But um, people aren't that eager to play the newest Call of Duty, not as much as what they used to. You know what I mean? It
No.
used to be a big thing. Like whenever every year there was a new Call of Duty game, and every single person would jump to go play it, whether it's Xbox or
Yeah.
PlayStation. But now people are way less excited for the new Call of Duty
It's
game.
a
You know what I
different
mean?
industry now. It's a different industry. We
Exactly.
have
Yeah.
games as a service. You have Call of Duty Warzone. Well, it's like, well, if I'm playing Call of Duty Warzone, do I have to go buy the new Call of Duty and play that instead? You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not as
Yeah.
in high demand as before, and I mean, look at the success of Halo Infinite. Obviously, that is they spent the time and made a great game, but it was how many years has it been since Halo 5? Like 6, 7 years.
Exactly.
It's been a while. So
It's also like the market's oversaturated. The reason why people used to be excited for Call of Duty games every year was because they were very limited, big budget FPS games.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Especially that are on console.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, but that's not the case nowadays. It's there's so many games being made, so many good games coming out of small studios as well.
Mhm.
People are just kind of over it, you know what I mean? Uh, like I just don't know anybody that cares about Call of Duty anymore. Besides Warzone, I know a lot of people who still play Warzone, who still like Warzone. I mean, I still enjoy playing old school Call of Duty. Like if I'm gonna be playing Call of Duty with some friends, I'm gonna be playing like the remake of Modern Warfare. You know what I mean?
hmm You know what's
I'm not gonna be
interesting
playing
is
any of the newer
I'm looking at
ones.
this report, and they're saying that Call of Duty Vanguard was 2021's best-selling game overall in the U.S. And the second best-selling game was a Call of Duty game, Black Ops Cold War. And it says 13 years in a row, Call of Duty is the best-selling franchise for dollar sales. Um, which is interesting because nobody talks about. Like, how many have
It's
been?
true. Yeah.
How many people have you seen talking about Vanguard? I haven't seen anybody talking about Vanguard since it came out. There's like
No,
no chatter about it. I mean, I guess people are buying it and playing it, but there's just been
I genuinely forgot about it. I think it's one of those things where, like, for years, and it's going to continue to be this way, it's always one of those games you kind of get with a console as well.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like, whenever you pick up a new console, it's usually got Call of Duty attached to it or something, or, they always have those bundles, and for some reason, well, at least from my point of view, there was always Call of Duty bundles.
yeah. Also, you can't compare against the big AAA exclusive titles both from Microsoft and Sony. You know what I mean? Like Halo Infinite. Well, it's only released on PC and Xbox, so you're that's a whole PlayStation platform there you're not selling to. Same with Sony. If you're releasing God of War, that's not coming out on Xbox, and then it comes out on the PC maybe 2 years later. Like so. It's tough for those games to be the best-selling games overall, but those games are made
They're
for
more beloved
and they're made
as
for
well,
different yeah, and they're made for different
Yeah.
reasons. So, um,
Anyways, I'm excited. I'm excited for the change because I think even within the Call of Duty community, which even though like we just said, nobody really talks about it, the Call of Duty community is still huge.
yeah, yeah,
Like it's still a massive, massive community, and I think even they are kind of worried about where Call of Duty is going.
hmm
So I feel like with the change, giving the studio more time to focus on doing a game rather than rushing out a new game every single year, like they can actually focus on it and like really like smooth it out, you know what I mean, before releasing a new game. I think they'll look forward to that. And hopefully within well hopefully they also look at Warzone, because Warzone's kind of fallen off as well, and they need to make a couple changes and fixes there.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Call of Duty is going to become like in the next like 2 to 3 years. But I also wonder, like they say that they want to do this thing of doing a game every like maybe 2 to 3 years instead of every year, but they still have contracts in place for the next Call of Duty, like
Mhm.
the next three Call of Duty games. So I'm wondering because of those contracts, if they have to then push them out yearly anyways, at least for the next three.
Just to get over the contract, you mean? Basically, like,
Yeah,
let's
just to
get.
get over, yeah. But also because I think the contract would state that it would have to happen yearly. You know what
Hmm.
I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if it'd have to do that because just because of, sometimes there's just delays.
True.
But I know Phil Spencer had tweeted out. He said, here's a tweet. He said, had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirm our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship. So, according to this tweet, Microsoft's plans is to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, not to take
Mm.
away. But it might be like what you said is more exclusive type of stuff. What I said about being on Game Pass day one, that value proposition might start getting too good. Let's say if you're a Call of Duty person, but you like to play other games too, it's just seems like a much better value, especially now that some of these games are $70. These
Yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, I think it's going to be a case of exactly what you and I said. It's going to either be day one on Game Pass, the next Call of Duty,
Mhm.
and then still be available on every other console, every other platform
Mhm.
for sales. Because why would you not if you have the ability to? You can make more money that way, you
Mhm.
know. Like I'm sure if they really wanted to and could, if they could have done the same with Halo, they would have done. That's what they would have done. It is the best way to make money. You know what I mean? Free on Game Pass, but then you can purchase it on any other platform.
Mhm.
That's the best way to like maximize your profits. I think.
Yeah.
Because they're not that focused on console sales anymore.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I think it's going to be what you said. It's going to be day one on Game Pass, but to purchase on PlayStation and purchase on other places in PC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then perks through like Game Pass Ultimate. There'll be a lot of perks.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like though I do feel like the other properties. I think Call of Duty maybe. Well, Warzone for sure is going to be and like Overwatch, it's a free to play that needs to be on every platform. But then when you're talking about maybe Phil Spencer also talked about reviving some dormant franchises, right? Like Guitar
Mhm.
Hero or whatnot, and he even mentioned I think King's Quest. I didn't even know Activision Blizzard
Yeah.
owned King's Quest. So those things obviously will be exclusive to the Xbox slash PC platforms. I assume anything like StarCraft or Warcraft will also be the same. Um, unless they're free to play, unless somehow they turn them to free to play. Um, but then
Well, they're kind of at that point. Like
yeah,
I uh I downloaded a lot of their games are like that now. I've noticed on Blizzard where because they come in chapters, you can download the game and the game is free, but only the first chapter is free.
yeah,
Like they did that with StarCraft 2. You
mm-hmm,
get the Terran campaign, but then the other two campaigns you got to pay for.
mm-hmm,
Diablo 3, you can play that for free as well, but only I think the first chapter, and then the rest you got to pay for. So they're
yeah,
like already on that like, and this is before the acquisition happened. So Blizzard is already on that like thought process with their older games and their other like their more dormant IP.
yeah. But then you have Diablo 4, still upcoming. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, some of these games too, like, are very PC centric. One other news thing that is also related to what we're talking about is Blizzard is hiring for an unnamed survival game. So they're working on a AAA survival game for PC and console.
That is really not what I was expecting from them. But you know what? To be honest, when they first did Overwatch, that was also not something I was expecting from
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard. You know what I mean? It's not the kind of games that they're used to making. Um, but this is really out there for them, a survival game. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. I mean, I love survival games. It's just not the studio I was expecting it. Well, then again, you know what? I really enjoyed Grounded, and that came from a freaking fantasy RPG studio, you
Mm-hmm.
know? It came from Obsidian, like, and I had no idea that they were going to do a survival game, and I really enjoyed their survival game. So
Mm-hmm.
who knows? I guess it's better to be optimistic, anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, this seems like their next big IP. Um, hopefully they want to build it. I'm assuming it's going to be a free to play game,
Hmm.
or at least very cheap.
I don't think it would be free to play just because you doing survive. I don't know of any survival game that's free to play because as
Okay.
like a game genre, it can't really be free to play because there's no way you can really make money through microtransactions.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
like it's one of those things where they would have to make their money from game sales.
Okay. Or maybe it's a cheaper type of game. I'm not sure. Like
I
how
mean,
much?
that was the problem with Minecraft. Eventually, Minecraft figured it out where they created an online store. So there are microtransactions in Minecraft now, but it took them literally years to be able to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to implement it correctly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, I don't think it'll be free. It's probably gonna cost.
How much was Valheim?
Valheim was pretty cheap. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
its regional pricing is different per country. In my country, it was really, really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say like probably $20 or less though in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like I mean I don't see it going for more than $20. It's probably like $15, $10 maybe even.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I
But
guess they're trying to compete in that market. Then that's my
yeah, I like
assumption.
I mean there's a bit of art that came with it. You know what I mean? And it looks
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like giving me like fantasy kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Like this, mind you, this is just like a little bit of artwork. It doesn't mean that the graphics are going to look like that in anything, but it would be nice if it has like that nice like fantasy kind of element to it where it looks
Mm-hmm.
quite pretty like that, very painterly. I would love to play a game like that.
Yeah, I mean this is they're hiring people. They don't have a name yet for. I mean, this is a long ways off. They're
I
hiring
can see
for.
I see an axe and a bow and arrow though, so that's also like a couple things to
Mm-hmm.
think of in terms of the gameplay, you know. So it seems like it is going to be a bare bones. Well, not bare bones, but yes, it's going to be a survival game, probably PvE. Um, well, hopefully PvE. If not, it's going to be it looks like it's either going to be a solo experience or it's going to be PvE.
Yeah, I'm assuming PVE.
Yeah. Because at
Uh,
least with PvE, it does give you the opportunity further down the line to incorporate microtransactions, which is not something you want, but once again, like if they're looking to make money through that way, I can see them doing that. If not, then it would have to be based off of game sales from price.
on a side note, ex StarCraft and Warcraft developers raised 25 millions to make a Unreal Engine RTS. Frost Giant Studios, which was founded by Tim Morton, the production director on StarCraft 2, and Tim Campbell, the lead campaign designer on Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne. They were founded in 2020, and they've gotten a latest round of funding of 25 million. Um, in total, they've raised 34.7 for this debut project. So
I think we covered them forming as a company. Well, we've covered a few companies forming that
yeah,
are like ex-Blizzard. There's a few companies that have formed that are
uh huh.
ex-Blizzard. There was another company also working on an RTS game that I was looking forward to because a lot of people that worked there worked on some of my favorite RTS games. I heard about this as well. So I think there's even a third company, I could be wrong, that came out of Blizzard as well, like ex-employees that are also
Mm-hmm.
making an RTS. But this is a lot of funding, so this is obviously going to be the one to look out for, I think.
Yeah, but like with these games, they take a long time.
Well, take it because there's a
Especially
lot of balancing and stuff you got to work out, you know.
yeah, especially if it's the first one.
Oh, for sure. Because they gotta make sure there's enough lore to carry them forward for future games. You know, I have I have high hopes for them because it's something that, in theory, they specialized in. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I mean, yeah. It's founded by the guy, the production director for StarCraft 2,
Yeah.
the lead campaign designer for Warcraft 3, Frozen Throne, which is one of my favorite RTS games. Well, both of those games are my top two favorite RTS games.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's exciting news. That's exciting news. It's always nice to get a fresh RTS and a new RTS, you
Hmm.
know? I did enjoy Age of Empires, but even like in the past, Age of Empires was a game that I didn't enjoy as much as Warcraft or StarCraft because of the setting, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? If I'm gonna play an RTS game, I wanna have some I want it to be not based in reality, you know? And I don't want to be like playing with like ain't like actual like English troops from the 1900s or something. Like no, like I want aliens or
Yeah,
orcs
well,
or
because
like
you get more
you know?
creative weapon choices, right? If you're going realistic, then you're only using realistic weapons of that era or that time period, and so you're kind
Yeah.
of just more limited in that. Where when you go sci-fi or fantasy, you get to create magic and science
You,
fiction
you
and all
get
those things.
the amount of troops you can play with are so different, you know. Like
Yeah.
when I think of StarCraft 2, like being able to play as the Protoss or even the Zerg, because they're
Hmm.
aliens, you get so much more freedom with the kind of troops you can develop, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Whereas when you do an RTS based in reality, it's like you got planes, tanks, and men with guns, and that's like there's not much you can do other than that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so there'll be a lot of creative freedom there. I just based off of the lineup of people working on it, I have high hopes for this. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, cool. There was one thing I forgot to mention. I guess this is another big story. I mean, we kind of already knew this was happening, but they've kind of made it more set in stone, which is three new Star Wars games, and they're all going to be from Respawn. They're not necessarily developing all three, but they're at least overseeing all three. Obviously, we're going to get the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel. And then there's
Yeah,
going to be an FPS and there's going to be a strategy game. And supposedly the strategy game is coming from some of the former developers of XCOM.
yeah. I think that I actually think we're gonna see the strategy game first. Like in terms of like release dates,
Hmm.
like I have a feeling we're actually gonna see that strategy game before we even see the next blanking on it. The
What, Jedi Fallen Order?
Oh, Fallen Order. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah. Before we see we know a Fallen Order sequel is coming, but I think we're going to get the strategy game before the time, because just from speaking from like a historical point of view, strategy games are easier to like they're quicker to pump out, like those XCOM style kind of
Hmm.
strategy games. Like and they're never really ever like super in-depth high graphics either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're accounting for, you want a lot of movement on the screen with a lot of units. So
Yeah.
you're trying to, you know, keep the. I mean, I remember the one problem with Warcraft 3 and why I ended up not going like so deep into Warcraft 3 was because of the graphical settings. I don't know if you remember, they jumped
Mm.
from the kind of sprite based 2D, even though it was like a 3D perspective, like a whatever for StarCraft, but they were all sprite based. They weren't actual 3D models. And then they jumped to in Warcraft 3 to actual 3D polygon models for each unit, and
Yeah.
me and my friends tried to play, and it just sunk our current computers at that time, and we stopped playing it because like towards the end of a game we'd just have so many units, and then it would just everything would slow down.
Oh yeah, and I remember that. No, I remember that very well during the multiplayer games with friends. Yeah.
Yeah, which never happened during StarCraft, so we were just like, all right, we're over it, you know.
So yeah, no, so yeah, I get why they have to be like lower res, but that's also why like I said they get pumped out quicker. So I think
Hmm.
we'll probably see an announcement for that soon. I would imagine,
Yeah.
like in a few months or so.
And this is not counting that other Star Wars game that's coming from
Was
Quantic
it
Dream.
Ubisoft?
Is it?
Quantic Dream, yeah.
Yeah. So this is just in the EA respawn side of things. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not really looking forward to a Star Wars FPS game. Like, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fun, but I'd rather just play Battlefront or Battlefront 2, you know?
Hmm.
But also, like, in terms of the Star Wars universe, like, when I think Star Wars, the first thing I think of isn't gun, you know? Like, I gotta be honest.
Hmm.
I think of lightsabers. Like, you want to be a Jedi, you know what I mean? You don't like. I mean, I don't know. Unless it's like, unless you get to be like a like Boba Fett or something, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Respawn does have a good history with FPSs, so
True.
with Titanfall and Apex Legends, so maybe something can come from it. But yeah, I mean, I'm very looking forward to the sequel for Jedi Fallen Order, and on a side note, like I mentioned, that the one coming from Quantic Dream under Ubisoft. So yeah, that's just more news about more Star Wars games coming. Also, we're still waiting for the Old Republic remake.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that is. I'm really excited for that.
All right. Next thing I've got this. Oh, last week I haven't gotten a chance to play it, but Rainbow Six Extraction came out, and it came out on Game Pass.
Yes.
Uh,
And well, Rainbow Six Siege didn't just come out, but it got added to Game Pass
yeah.
as well, which I was more excited about was being able to play Siege. Even it's not a very expensive game, but still, like
Hmm.
it's been one of those things where I just haven't had the time to play it because I just don't necessarily want to spend the money on it in case I don't like it.
Hmm.
But now I get to play it because it's on Game Pass, and I have a lot of friends to play it with as well, which is great.
Yeah, I've never played Siege, but I know there's a big following for it, and that's why a lot of people are looking forward to Extraction. From reviews I read and watched, it seems like it's I guess maybe the whole reason why they kind of made the Game Blast deal is maybe they realized like it's not that much of a departure from Siege, and you're not really getting a lot. Do you know what I mean from it in terms of anything new? I heard it plays well, but it's just kind of more of the same, and even not even a lot more of the same. So, like, it's fun to play, but it's not really worth the cash. Paying
Yeah,
full price for the game, and it kind of makes the Game Pass deal makes sense now to get that player base up, get people to play it on day one that are not paying extra for it, and then maybe later on, you know, people get
considering
hooked.
at least from what I've seen, a lot of people aren't enjoying the new game,
Hmm.
so it's a good way to at least get people to try it out, you
Yeah.
know. You still have to use Uplay, but you once you link your like Ubisoft account and your Game Pass account, you get access to the two games.
Yeah, that was kind of a pain in the ass when I was trying to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was
Also,
not.
like the Uplay app is not very good.
No, it was harder to do than the EA Play one.
Hmm.
So
But it'll probably get better well, actually, I don't think it'll get better in the future because it was just a collaboration for those two games. I don't think it's going to be anything else other than that in the future, you know.
we'll see. I mean,
But
I know
yeah,
Xbox or Microsoft had been talking about collaborating more with Ubisoft.
true.
That's why there was rumors was Microsoft gonna buy Ubisoft, et cetera, et cetera. So who knows? But I will download it and play it. At least give it a try. Like I said, that's what Game Pass does for you. Was I gonna buy it? Nope. On Game Pass, I'll try it out. Um, So, next thing I've got here is Halo Infinite. A lot of big changes. They've reduced the prices in the store because there's been a lot of complaints about the pricing items. Not this season, but in the next season, you'll actually be able to earn credits in the Battle Pass, which is going to be nice. So overall, they're kind of just listening to the fan base because I know there's been a lot of complaints about progression and all that good stuff. So I think it's good news. I mean, it's not going to start until May, but it's just that's only the second Battle Pass, anyways.
Well, they're definitely, like I said, they're listening as well because I read an article about how they removed a map from ranked because people were complaining too much. Mm-hmm. Well, specifically a certain game mode on a certain map in ranked, and people complained about it and they removed it, which was capture the flag on Behemoth. So they got rid of that from ranked at least, which is like a small thing, but it's nice that they listen. Reading some of these things, people were really not happy about that map being on there on ranked, playing capture the flag on there. So they got rid of that, which is good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it's a work in progress. This is the first time Halo has done free to play, so they're trying to balance profits, but then also keeping the community happy.
Item prices dropped as well, which is good because I agree things were a bit too expensive.
Yeah.
So it's good to have seen that the item prices were dropped. Yeah. Bundles are cheaper. Bundles used to be like 2,000 credits. Now they're 1,200 credits. That's a huge decrease.
Yeah, that's $20 to $12, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Still not that sweet spot of $10 though, which is unfortunate.
No.
Because for a lot of people, that is that $2 is a make or break for a lot of people, I think. So
it's psychological, man. It's psychological. It's like
it really is.
Could I afford the extra $2? Sure, but I don't want to pay the extra $2.
I know. I sure as hell don't. I'll be honest with you, man.
I paid for the Battle Pass. It was $10. Was it 12? If it was 12, would I paid? I don't know. Maybe.
No, I wouldn't. It's the stupidest thing, but with Valorant, because we didn't have localized pricing with Valorant, I never got the Battle Pass because it was always 12 euros. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they made it 10 euros, I was like, take my money. It is a psychological thing as well, like you say. But you know what? I don't care. It works. So I think they're gonna definitely make more changes in the future. Eventually, I do think eventually the bundles will cost 1,000 credits. Things will be cheaper. They're gonna find those sweet spots. It's just an issue of trial and error until they find it. They are working with the community for the most part. Yes, there are people pissed off, but there will always be people pissed off.
For every game. Any game.
For every game, yeah. Regarding any situation. So I think that they're at least looking into it and making the correct changes, which is good.
Yeah. And then semi-related to this, Xbox has reported that the 2021 holiday season is they had a record sales. Halo Infinite, strongest launch in series history. So they're, despite the shortages for the ending quarter of 2021, their gaming revenue reached $5.44 billion, which is $411 million more than the same period last year. So
I just want to go back real quick because I think we did gloss over the biggest change with Halo is that, to make it clear, you can now earn credits through playing the game, which is a big change. That is a massive change.
It is.
Rather than just, because before that it was just you had to spend money. You know what I mean?
Well, you technically
can just grind.
Well, you technically still have to spend money because it's with the Battle Pass.
True. Okay. Fair. Yeah, I guess.
But it's just hey, if you just want to spend the $10 for the Battle Pass and grind, you can. Before you couldn't, right? You get 10. You grind for the Battle Pass stuff, but you couldn't grind make credits to buy stuff that weren't in the Battle Pass, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So you could grind the Battle Pass back, right, before the time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering when they were going to make that change as well, because I remember like Fortnite did that a while ago, and it was a huge difference. For like the longest time, Fortnite was you pay for the battle pass, you spend 1,000 V-bucks. Well, the battle pass is 950 V-bucks, but you spend the $10, you get the battle pass. If you complete the battle pass, you make your money back, and you can buy the next battle pass with that money. But it's at a certain point in time they realized it was more profitable to let the person get more money than the battle. Like you would spend 1,000 V-bucks to get 1,000 V-bucks back if you finish it. But now it's like you spend 1,000 V-bucks, but you get like 1,500 back. So that leaves you with like that extra 500 to spend on cosmetics instead of spending money, you know? And people were buying the battle pass a lot more because of that.
Well,
So it makes sense, yeah. It's a logical step forward.
yeah, starts in May though, which is what, about 4 months away. 4 months away, so we'll see. I mean, I'm glad they cut the prices because the prices were too much. I mean, a lot of these, you know, free to play games, even non free to play games like Avengers, where like the pricing for cosmetics are just outrageous. You know, I know people,
Exactly,
I
yeah.
know they need to make money. Look, the Halo multiplayer is free, so obviously they need to make some money from it, but you can't go crazy, man. You can't be
I
like,
mean, like,
you can't be
I hate
like,
to say it, but Fortnite really nailed the prices. Like, I don't play Fortnite anymore, but I can tell you now, like all the cosmetics I ever bought in that game felt like they were worth the money.
mhm.
I never once felt like I was like paying more than
Like
what I needed to for something, you
what were the
know?
prices? Like, give me for example, like a skin for a weapon. How much was that?
Well, your weapon skin would be a thing where it's like it's a skin for all your weapons. They
Okay,
call them wraps.
okay,
You know what I mean? So it'd be for all your weapons, it'd be the same wrap, and they vary, but like they wouldn't be more than like $5.
that
You know
makes
what I
sense.
mean?
Yeah.
A legendary character, like to get a full legendary character bundle is $20.
Hmm.
That's to get like all their equipment and stuff with it, but just to get the character is usually $10.
Hmm.
And I think that's also like a fair price, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? They've never ever like extended it too much. You know, like you can buy emotes that are 200 V-bucks. That's like $2. You know what I mean? You
Hmm.
can buy like cool little emotes for two. Like that's great. You know, that's a sweet, and that's why they make so much money. Is because they're not too expensive. You know?
Yeah, it's like I know that one of the biggest complaints people were lashing out about was when they did the pineapple covered grenades in Halo Infinite, and they were $10, and people are like, "I'm paying $10 for that." You know, it's like
That's
that
crazy. That's
that
actually crazy.
that
Yeah.
should be like $5 or under. Like myself, if it was 2-3 bucks, I might buy it. You know what I mean? But I'm not
Yeah.
paying $10 for that. You know,
And it's
two.
such a small thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Like I get like in games like Valorant, the weapon skins are way too they're still too expensive. Like I've bought a couple because I really wanted them, but
Hmm.
even then it's like it's not a justifiable price. But their competition, Counter-Strike, has are also expensive. So because of that, they get to choose their own prices. But with a game like that, it's one of those things where like a knife skin can set you back like $50, I want to say.
Hmm.
Like a good knife skin can set you back like $50. But the thing is, like in that game, if you got your knife out, you can be looking at that knife for like 40 minutes
Hmm.
in like a which is roughly how long like a game lasts, about 40 minutes. You know what I mean? Whereas like you just sit down in Halo, you got that grenade. How long are you gonna see it for before you throw it? You know, like why would I pay $10 for something I'm gonna see for like a few seconds and then
Yeah.
just throw it?
With other people
It's
seeing it on you, basically.
that's so
That's the
dumb,
thing.
man.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, Microsoft had a great year. They had they said Halo Infinite has 20 million players at launch. Forza Horizon 5 has about 18 million players total now after its release. Driving a lot of Game Pass subscriptions. Um, Xbox content and service revenue is up 10%. Um, Thanks to first party sales and Game Pass. So hardware revenue was up 4%, despite not having enough in stock. Both it's so funny how both Sony and Microsoft are like essentially losing money by not having.
from this acquisition.
Well, and losing money not having these consoles. People want to buy these consoles that they're not in
Hmm.
stock. What are you gonna? There's just money. You don't know if that money is still gonna be around by the time you have it in stock for that person to purchase. That they may have moved on to something else. Maybe financially they can't afford it anymore. I don't know. It's always better to get. I mean, that's why the whole reason why these companies give like extra things for pre-orders and whatnot is they want your money as soon as possible. They want you to put down the money, so they got the money in hand, and they you've committed to purchasing this. Speaking of which, Elden Ring went gold, and I think they revealed what I think it's a 30-hour playthrough of the main mission, but there's a lot of other shit you can do.
Yeah, a lot of side quests. Probably like in total like a 45-hour game if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Maybe 45-hour game, which is a bit shorter than I was expecting, I'll be honest.
That
Like not by much though. Like I was expecting like a
yeah,
40 maybe 50-hour campaign, But like I'm like 30 is
I'm
good.
good.
30 hits a good spot for me, you know what I mean?
I'm good
30
with
hits a good spot for me.
I'm good with 30.
As long as there's 10 hours minimum of like side quests, then I'm happy.
Hmm.
Like overall, because that puts it at like a 40-hour game. That's like a really like you could like have a great weekend, you know what I mean, and play that game.
Yeah. The reason I brought it was because speaking of pre-orders, you can pre-order it. They give you their incentives aren't that great for the pre-order. There's like a
Yeah.
guide slash I forgot what else. There was like one skin or something. It was very minimal. I was just bringing it up because it's probably the first game that I buy. Well, I guess now because Oculus I have bought games for the Quest, but I guess it's the first PC game that's non-Game Pass that I'm buying in a long time. I think
Yeah, I think I already pre-ordered it actually
I have
because
not yet, but I probably
I
will.
pre-ordered the only reason why was because I was surprised by the price and it's really cheap in South Africa at least.
How much
Then
is it? Because
I'm
it's not cheap here.
is it $60
Yeah, it's
by
sixty
you
dollars.
guys?
$60.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let me confirm real quick unless they changed it, but when I last checked it was something like I want to say like probably I don't want to like lie, but it could be like $35.
Damn.
I know, but that's the look, it's the only good thing you get about living in Africa, okay? Um yeah, okay. No, I was wrong. I was wrong. It's about $40.
That's still a good
40,
price.
$45. That's still a really good
40,
price,
40,
yeah.
$40 for a game that size is a good price. And not to say
Yeah, like
$60 isn't worth
roughly.
it. Sixty
Oh,
dollars.
it's gonna be worth the $60 for
Yeah.
sure as well. I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, I pre-ordered it because it was also on sale when it was on
Hmm.
pre-order. It was like a 15% discount on Steam, so I was like, why not? It's not gonna be on sale anytime after the game comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
So
got that extra 15% off, and I was like, hell yeah.
yeah. So looking forward to that. The game going gold isn't the same as back in the day when games went gold
Yeah.
because they had actually have to print them. They actually
Yeah, now it's like now you get day one patches and
yeah.
deal like it's
Yeah.
nothing's really gold.
No. No.
Like when I remember we got excited for when Cyberpunk went gold,
Yeah.
and then there's just so many patches,
Yeah.
so many patches. Oh my God.
Speaking of which, I finally beat it. I finally beat Cyberpunk
Nice.
2077.
Which ending did you go for?
I did. Well, actually, I've done two, and I'm on the third one right now. So I did Pan Am's, and I did the Arasaka.
Pan Am is my favorite ending.
Yeah, that's my favorite one so far. I did
Yeah.
Arasaka, I did Pan Am, and I'm working through Rogue's ending right now.
And then there's the secret ending. Have you done? I
No,
told you about the secret ending, right?
I'm gonna look it up after. I saw it.
I'll tell you right now. Well, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'll tell you when to activate it. You know when you have to make the choice on your last mission,
Uh huh.
like Pan Am
Yeah.
kind of stands there and
Yeah.
talks to you as well. If you just wait, like literally don't touch the game and you just leave the choice, eventually Johnny Silverhands gives you a fourth option.
Okay.
And it's basically a suicide mission. But
Mhm.
it ends with like the most glory. It's like It just yeah, like it's technically the most badass ending of the game, in
Hmm.
my opinion. I just kind of like the Panem ending more because like I really enjoyed that character arc with her,
Hmm.
going on the date. Like they built the character really well. I felt the romance. I was there for it. But yeah, the secret ending is technically the most badass, and it's
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna
one where
wait. I'm
you
gonna finish the endings,
yeah.
and then I'm gonna try and maybe do like a spoiler review or something like that.
Yeah, I'll join you for it
Cool.
because I recently replayed the ending of that game as well because I really enjoyed it. It's one of those things where if you do the suicide mission, if you do like the secret ending, you gotta be ready for it, man, because it's a solo venture into
Hmm.
that last thing. So
Okay.
you got to make sure that you got all your good weapons. You got
Uh huh.
to be leveled and ready for that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's fun. That's why I went back and played it recently.
Nice. All right. The last thing that I have is finally. Remember, Steam Deck was supposed to come out in December to catch
Hmm.
that Christmas rush. Obviously, hardware is not the same as software, so it got delayed. They didn't say when, but now they've announced. Okay, February 28th is when the Steam Deck is shipping. You can't start buying it until February 25th, though. Um,
Correct.
so yeah. Looks, we've talked about it before. It looks very cool. If I was much more of a mobile gamer, I would buy one.
Like
But
I
I
would have
just,
grabbed it if I didn't have a Switch already,
mm-hmm,
but I got a Switch and I've been using it a lot more than I have in the past.
mm-hmm,
Especially with the new Pokemon game coming out. I'm looking
mm-hmm,
forward to grabbing that. Haven't bought it yet. I don't think it's come out yet, but it's coming out today or tomorrow,
mm-hmm.
or I could be wrong. It's either come out this week or it's coming out next week, but I'm definitely picking that up. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would have gotten this honestly because it's one of those things where I wouldn't. But I got a gaming PC and I've got a Nintendo Switch for mobile games. But I can see this being like great for certain people.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
definitely.
it's gonna sell. I think it's gonna sell well, like really well. Like
Yeah, it's gonna sell more than the Valve Index because the Valve Index, is a high-end VR system, which
yeah,
you need a high, you need a high-performing PC. You need room and space because it's not tracking from the headset. It's not. You need
mm.
actual sensors.
And you
It's
need the PC and everything. Yeah,
yeah, it's just a whole endeavor, right? Whereas this thing is
yeah.
more like the Quest, right? The Quest 2, where it's like it's a standalone thing that you can purchase for a relatively cheap price. And as long as you have games on it, um, yeah, like I said, it's something
I
that.
think by the time we get to a Steam Deck 2, it's gonna be a very commercial product.
Uh,
Which will be a good thing for the company as well. But I would say like it would be able to rival the Switch. I think like it's gonna smash the sales when it gets released. Um, People are gonna want this and they're not gonna be able to get it.
yeah,
I can tell you that much. They're not gonna be like it's gonna sell out so fucking fast.
yeah.
So a lot of people are gonna be disappointed where they're just not gonna be able to get one for a while, especially because I believe if Val is producing it correct, or I mean not producing it, but you know what I mean. They're
Mm-hmm.
in charge of the production of it, which means that it's going to be limited.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not very limited, but like limited nonetheless.
Yeah,
Exciting stuff though.
yeah,
That's in 1 month from now, exactly 1 month from now, we'll be able to cover it.
yeah. And Elden Ring is coming out, I think, 1 month from now as well.
Correct? Yeah.
So we'll be talking about that as well. So I think that's all I had. I know you had some small bits of news here and there to chat
Yeah.
about.
First of all, they announced Crisis 4, which I wasn't expecting, but it's also one of those things where I just thought it would have happened a long time ago, or like sooner, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But considering like where next gen gaming is,
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for this because Crisis was the game to benchmark your PC. You know what I mean? That
Mm-hmm.
was the game where it's like, you got a PC, cool. Can it run Crisis?
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah,
always
yeah,
the
I
question.
remember. Crisis
So I think
Engine.
moving forward, like it's gonna be some next gen epic fucking game. Like whether the game is fun or not. I know it's gonna look amazing. That's for damn sure. I do hope the game is fun. But yeah, it's been 9 years since Crisis 3, so it came kind of out of nowhere, but not too out. Like we did have the remasters or remakes recently. Um, I guess remaster. Sorry, that's the term. But yeah, it's only like a 43-second trailer. Like they just kind of give you a couple cool, like really cool graphics, and then that's it. So we don't know anything about the game really.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it came from a leak on Chinese social media, so I'm guessing we'll see more of a trailer eventually. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be cool. And then this is more just like if I can get a hold of it, I'm going to play the crap out of it. Speaking about Warcraft, a modder released Warcraft 3, the remaster that Blizzard didn't. Well, I mean, that's what, in layman's terms, the point is a modder remastered Warcraft 3 better than what Blizzard did
Yeah,
it.
that's what I heard.
So I'm not gonna lie, if I can find a copy of this modded version of Warcraft 3, I'm gonna play it
Hmm.
because I was so actually words can't even like explain how disappointed and angry I was about Warcraft 3 Reforged or Warcraft 3 Refunded, as it was later known. Um, but yeah, there's like a 34-second trailer. Um, it looks good. It actually it doesn't look like super amazing. It just looks. It's just better than what Blizzard did. You know, and it came from like a single modder, I believe. It's a fan made project. I'm surprised Blizzard hasn't like shut it down yet, to be honest. I'm sure if it gets more attention, it will. That's also why I want to see if I can find it before it gets shut down. So that was quite cool. Um, this is just ahead of the time. It hasn't come out yet. I'll probably talk about it when I get the chance to play it next week, I think. But the new Pokemon game is on track to be like the best of the franchise, supposedly, moving forward because it's big open world Pokemon kind of game. They had some like big open world areas on the previous Pokemon game, but I think they're moving more forward to that in this. And you have like mounts and stuff, which is quite cool. So I'm looking forward to playing that. I'll hopefully be able to give us like a proper review on the game
Hmm.
when I get the chance to play it. And then this came out of nowhere. I don't think it's going to mean anything. I think it's just an investment. But a Saudi-backed company bought ESL for $1 billion. ESL being a esports league.
Mm.
Well, they didn't just buy the entire esports league. They just bought most of it, I believe, or a lot of it. Um, oh no, it was like ESL, straight up ESL was bought over. Oh my God. Yeah, the esports league got bought for $1 billion by Savvy Gaming, an esports investment company that's backed by Saudi Arabian government's wealthy and controversial public investment fund.
Hmm.
Um, no idea. I don't think that means anything. I think that's just people. I think that's just people. I don't think ESL is going to change. You know what I mean? I don't think it means much, but it is quite interesting that this kind of went under the radar. This happened on Monday, and no one's really spoken about it. Um, they also bought the esport platform Faceit for $500 million. So it's like a $1.5 billion investment overall. So yeah, I wonder what that means moving forward. I don't think it'll mean too much. And then this is something that came out of nowhere for me that I saw this past week. Well, like we covered a while ago that there was like a Pokemon game coming out. It wasn't Pokemon though. It was a new studio's own take on Pokemon. It's called Pal World. I just saw the trailer for the first time, and it's the only thing I can describe it as is Pokemon but with guns. Like, I gotta, Dennis, you gotta watch this for context.
Hmm.
Um, the reason I bring this up is because the game looks interesting. I'm definitely gonna play it because it looks fucking crazy. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because it went so popular that people were making like meme videos or ripple videos of the same thing, the same concept, but with actual Pokemon. And Nintendo's like hunting down these videos and trying to
Hmm.
shut down these fan-made Pokemon FPS games videos.
Yes, Nintendo is not very receptive to those type of things.
Exactly, no, Nintendo like the hell, like you can't even like
Even for fun, They are not.
You can't even play like Nintendo games on YouTube anymore without getting a copyright strike. And like I think you can still play like Nintendo games thrive on Twitch, but
Mhm.
on YouTube like they get demonetized like there's no tomorrow. So they've always been like that. But to be fair, I mean from looking at the video, it's just these taking a shotgun at Pikachu. I can understand why Nintendo doesn't want this going around. So that went down. But yeah, I just thought if anybody out there hasn't heard of Pal World, it might not be the kind of game that you're into, but I do recommend looking at the trailer because what the actual hell is going on in it.
Mhm.
It's it looks beautiful, which is the weirdest thing. Like the game looks beautiful, but then you're like sliding down a mountain just like with an AK-47 shooting these cute adorable animals. And then you have like a farm and you're doing all these adorable stuff, but in between it's like Doom. Like it's just crazy. Um there's even there's I'm watching this point now where you get on one of your Pokemon and your Pokemon has a giant Gatling gun or he's like made out of Gatling guns.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like Pokemon meets guns. It's the only thing I can explain it as. This Kotaku article is saying it's what happens when you mix Pokemon and capitalism, which looking at the theme of it, because I also saw a video clip where like some of the Pokemon are strapped in and being used to harness the pals. They're not Pokemon, sorry, they're pals.
Mhm.
They're getting strapped in and used as freaking to generate electricity, you know what I mean? Just it's pretty heavy. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's so sad. I'm gonna play the game though. I'm looking forward to it. I just have no idea what to expect from this game. I wasn't expecting a Pokemon game that looks adorable, fun, relaxing, but then also it has guns in it.
Mhm.
Like, it's pretty out there. That's all the news I got though.
All right. Cool. I already mentioned I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077, finishing that up, and then we could do a spoiler review. Uh, what have you been playing lately?
There's a new indie game that came out on Game Pass. I believe it's from the people that made Guacamelee, which is a cool co-op game. It's called Nobody Saves the World. And I've really been enjoying that.
Mhm.
Putting it out there if anybody likes indie games. Nobody saves the world. You are nobody. The
Mhm.
character of nobody. The art style is so it's so weird. It's so weird and unique. And the
Mhm.
objective of the game is that you are a nobody, but eventually you get different forms. And you like the first form you unlock is a rat. So you're just kind of like keep. I would also keep in mind this is like a bird's eye view isometric game, kind of like old school Zelda,
Mhm.
like the old school Zelda games that were top down. It has that feel to it. And you can as you play the game, you unlock different forms, and you play as like a knight eventually or like an archer and but the game has such like a grim like dark very weird art style and I love it so I've been playing that as well as a lot of Valorant. The new season has been great. The new agent in Valorant is broken and I love playing as her because she's broken, so until they fix
Mhm.
her I'm going to love playing as that. But yeah, for the most part, just playing Valorant, a bit of that, and then there's a game I've been playing that I never heard of until now. It's called Spy Party. I think it's in early access. It came out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's a game where it's a two-player game, right? One person is a sniper, the other person is a spy. As a spy, you have to try your best to like blend into a room of NPCs and try to look like an NPC yourself,
Mhm.
whilst doing 3 out of 5 tasks. The sniper is literally on the other like on like a different building, just looking at you through a sniper lens, and he has to deduce or deduct like who the spy could be whilst
Mhm.
you're doing all these tasks. And it's been the most fun multiplayer game I've played in a while.
Is it like
I've been
it's like Among Us except for like with like sniper rifles or
it's like yeah,
something?
it's two-player Among Us. That's the
Yeah.
best way I can put it. It's literally two-player Among Us. And like, but you know, it's like it's 3D with graphics. You're
Yeah.
actually like walking around. It's pretty cool. It's called Spy Party. Um, yeah, I've never heard of it before. I like found it recently. It was pretty cheap. Me and a friend played it. We play it like almost every single day now, just because it's fun pulling each
Mhm.
other's legs, um, trying to like outplay each other. That's been quite fun. So I also recommend that game to anybody that might be listening.
Cool. Besides obviously Cyberpunk 2077, like I mentioned before, that I've been playing. Um, I downloaded Hitman Trilogy is on Game Pass now.
Oh yeah, it
All
is.
three games. I got it actually to test out the VR. It's kind of a mixed bag. I haven't
Oh,
played
does
a
that
lot of.
include the VR?
Well, the VR is already kind of like an option for
Okay.
it, so you don't buy a separate like VR version, which maybe makes it a little more forgiving for
Oh,
a lot of.
it's like No Man's Sky. You just launch the VR version of the game.
Yeah, yeah,
It just gives you the option before the time. Okay.
yeah. So it's not fully integrated. It's kind of disappointing, to be honest, because it's like the full-on games with all the cool stuff in Hitman, but the gameplay mechanics for VR aren't fully realized. They're
Yeah.
not like.
I'll also be honest, man. I did not know how intensive some of those VR games are. I was trying to play No Man's Sky in VR,
Mhm.
and my PC was it was struggling,
Yeah, you
like
gotta
struggling.
remember. You've
It
got
was
to do.
struggling, dude.
You've
Yeah.
got to do double. You've got the
hmm
computer needs to do double. That's why. Have you played Half-Life Alyx yet?
I have not actually. Hopefully,
That
I'm
is.
hoping to get the chance next week to play it. Actually,
Yeah, that's the game. That's the. Yeah, when I played
yeah,
it.
I had to lower the crap out of the graphics of No Man's Sky to play it in VR, and it was enjoyable, but it was like not what I wanted, especially when you're like flying through space in the cockpit, and it's
Mhm.
like it's cool, but God, it doesn't look pretty, you know?
See, Half-Life Alyx, because Valve is Valve and they've got, a ton of money. Um, the game looks good. Even on, I think I was
Yeah,
on like medium low or
I
something
think
like
it's because
that.
it's dark as well, which is smart. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Like you can hide a lot in the shadows and darkness, which is very smart. You know?
but yeah, when I think of AAA VR titles, that's the one. You should definitely play it when you get a chance.
Yeah. No, they're smart. Like that. Like mind you, like No Man's Sky wasn't developed for VR. They always thought
Yeah.
eventually you can go to VR, but it's a very resource heavy game as well because you're rendering so much,
Hmm.
like so much in that game is being rendered. Resources, ground, other planets, entire galaxies. Whereas Half-Life Alyx, it's just rendering the room, which
Yeah.
is great. That's why can give you that more immersive experience. So I'm looking forward to playing that.
Hmm.
There's also a game, I think it just released on Steam for VR. I really want to play it. I think it's called Call of Cthulhu or something,
Hmm.
or
I think.
Call from the Deep.
Yeah, I think I saw
I gotta
something
look
like
that
that.
up. Yeah, is it Call of the Deep? Call from the Deep.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Call from. Is it Call? I think it's Call from the Deep, but it's a
Hmm.
VR game. The graphics are great. It's literally a game with about like Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Is it the Deep? Maybe it's just I don't know. Anyways, that released like a month or two ago on Steam, and I want to try that out because that
Hmm.
looks horrifying, like genuinely horrifying. And I feel like, yeah, I don't like horror games, but I feel like if I had to play it in VR, it would be so worth it.
Hmm. All right, cool. I think that's it for this week. We'll be back next week, hopefully. Obviously, we're still talking about the Activision Blizzard stuff, but hopefully there'll be some more news besides just that. And I think it's kind of a slow time for games right now. Um,
Yeah, it'll pick up a little bit in December, at least with
December.
Jet. So just wow, my brain is all over the place. February
Yeah.
with Golden Week. So we'll get. I think we're gonna get a lot of news from Japanese studios next
Yeah.
month.
Well,
Yeah, but other than that, like in terms of like global gaming news, it's gonna be dead for at least another 2 months, I think.
yeah. Well, at least Elden Ring's coming out next month, and I'm
True, and we
busy with
also
the.
got Horizon coming out next month.
Yeah, I'm just glad I also have like all these like Game Pass games I can play and whatnot. So. All right, cool. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. Subscribe to our podcast feed that's on anchor.fm or Spotify. You can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. And Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch at It's Thespis. There should be a link in the description below, and you guys can find me on the Revog Discord channel if you guys ever want to talk.
Cool. All right, until next time, see you guys later.
Later.